Here's Seth Adams of Save Mount Diablo.
We're looking at Los Vaqueros across the reservoir from the South Marina all the way to the dam across what used to be Kellogg Creek and now exists only downstream. This valley was crossed by this beautiful sinuous creek lined with huge valley oaks. You can still see some of them drowned in the reservoir, which is an off-stream storage site filled by pipe from the delta. They pump in water during the winter when it's higher quality and then release it to blend with water they're pumping out of the delta during the summer to bring the quality up.
When archaeologist Adrian Pretzelis and a team from Sonoma State University first started working out here, the Los Vaqueros watershed was considered marginal for human habitation. When their studies were complete, however, they decided that the climate had been more moderate in the past and that people had been living here for thousands of years. People were here even before sea levels rose enough to fill San Francisco Bay. They were here way back when the Farallon Islands marked the edge of the continent. Here's Pretzelis on how archaeologists found some of this early human history at Los Vaqueros.
The dam needed a place to gather fill to construct the dam itself. So we identified the location where they were going to do that. We did some excavation using heavy equipment and found Native American archaeological remains as much as 12 feet below the surface. Now that's all 12 feet of alluvium, so this is the material that's slowly coming down from the hills and accumulating in the valley floor. So those materials, the earliest radiocarbon dates we had were about 9,800 years before the present. For Central California, whoa, that is really early. There are very few locations in Central California that have a date as early as that. That location had human occupation from almost 10,000 years ago up till about 200 years ago in various strata that had been lived on and then inundated by various alluvial episodes and then lived on again and then inundated again.
The oldest remains included a large obsidian spear or dart point, an artifact of hunting or trading. But there were chipping and grinding tools as well, suggesting that people were making more than just casual visits here. In somewhat shallower soils, the archaeologists found more than 100 sets of human remains, about 1,500 to 3,000 years old. Native Americans monitored the work of studying and then reburying the remains in another location.
Usually, archaeologists would much rather leave those human remains in the ground, intact, undisturbed. Archaeologists are really not into Indiana Jones kind of going out there and digging everything up that you possibly can. These days, we're much more preservation oriented, particularly as it relates to human remains. This was a location where the district had to remove the material in order to create fill for the dam. So these remains were going to be destroyed, so they had to come out of the ground.
By the time the research ended, a new story about this place began to emerge. Los Vaqueros was not just a blank spot on the map. It had a complex history, with clues to understanding thousands of years of natural and cultural change.
I don't think anybody was expecting a site that was nearly 10,000 years old. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Now head north on the Los Vaqueros Trail. In a minute or two, you'll be on a bridge of land with a little inlet on your left and the rest of the reservoir on your right. It's a good place to look for ducks and start listening to segment 3.